They wanted to have a sort of bank of people to undertake research. And they I think they advertised in different ways, but I don't take a local paper, so I didn't know. I got to know because somebody that's a friend that had been contacted by another friend and had actually joined up on this said to me, "Have you heard about this?" The first thing I did was a diabetic one. I'm not diabetic, but I was in the control group.
Mm-hmm.
And I was called to go up to the hospital for that one. And they went through a general check of everything, height, weight, medical history, that sort of thing. I think they were really checking on what caused type 2 diabetes. Mm-hmm. And there was age and weight and lifestyle and that kind of thing. And I thought it was really interesting. And I was very disappointed when I finished and they didn't bring me up the next week to give me something else to do, because I thought I'd be doing something all the time. You gave them some idea of what they would be eligible for, but at the same time saying it's a great help to have you on the team, because we have so many research or so much to do. We need lots of different sort of types of people. That's not quite the right word, but you've got to choose your both your control groups and your other, haven't you? But I think that what you've just said about we might ask you to do 1 or 2 a year, or we might do less, or we might do more. The thing was, I enjoyed it the first time I went, because the first time I went, I had a sort of thorough check over, weight and diet and all those sort of things. And I could talk to the nurse that was doing it and ask her things about why this was needed and so on. So I enjoyed myself. Oh, and I got a cup of coffee and a cake afterwards. That was important. I wasn't expecting that. They took me down, gave me a cup of coffee and 2 cakes. So I suppose I thought, I wonder when the next one will come. That was fun. I've enjoyed that. When's the next one coming up? And it didn't come. Blood pressure. I was asked to take my tablets in the evening, which I'd normally been taking them in the morning. But one of the things they wanted to know was if it affected your sleep patterns. That seemed to be the main thing. Well, you know me, nothing affects my sleep patterns. Absolutely pouring rain hammering down on the window. I mean, I sleep like a log. Anyway, that one's finished. That one finished. It finished a few months ago. At the moment, I'm doing another email one. Once a month, they contact me. They just remind me and send me a form. What they want to know is the effects that the vaccine is having on me. There's a list of questions, really in effect saying, have you noticed any changes and did you have any effects? And they did a fairly long email the first time to say, did you have this, that, or the other, coughs or pains or, difficulties with the injection. Well, I hadn't. I mean, both of mine were fine. I didn't really know I'd had them. They were no worse. In fact, I think they were a bit better than the flu injection. They did ask me if I felt better after I'd had the vaccination, which I was going to say no. And then I thought, no, they want to know if I'm feeling. What I really meant was I wasn't bothered about it in any case, so it didn't make any difference to me. So I decided.
So was there an option to say that?
No, there wasn't. No, it was. Do you feel better, or the same, or the worse, or something? And I thought, actually, I've got to put I feel better, because they want to know that the vaccination was a good thing to have, don't they?
So you answered it based on what you thought they wanted you to say.
Well, I did that one because
it didn't give you the option to say what you wanted to say.
Do you feel better after?
Interesting.
Do you feel better after the vaccination? Well, I didn't feel worse, and I didn't. I was just the same. So I thought about it for a little while, and I think what they're saying is, I think they're thinking perhaps about mental health as well. Are you feeling better?
Maybe.
But then I wasn't het up about the vaccine and the virus anyway. I was doing what I was told and getting on with life.
I love the attitude. Love it.
You were doing one of those to say, has it made a difference to you? And a couple of options or something. But you need to say that,
how did you feel before? Or how did you?
That's right. Yes, how did you feel before you had it, and did the vaccine help to, in that way? They contacted me again after about 3 or 4 weeks and said, had I changed the pattern of when I was taking it? Well, of course I hadn't, because I'd got used to it. And apparently there'd been a study done in the United States which contradicted their study. But it was a much, much smaller study they'd done in America. And they thought theirs was right, but they said they needed to have a bit more, do it a bit longer, just to make sure that of their facts. So I did a little bit longer on it than I was expecting to. Interesting. I didn't hear anything about the diabetic one. I mean, I wasn't particularly expecting to, but if it helped, it helped. Well, I can't do much nowadays. I'm getting old and I can't do very much, so I'm not much use. So I might as well do it. It's obviously a good thing. I mean, I didn't know anything really and truly about research, except that obviously you had to do it. I mean, if you're doing any sort of medicine of any sort, you do need research, don't you? I mean, that's fairly obvious. I didn't know anything about it.
Someone came to you and said, I'm thinking about, or I've received a letter about a research study, or I'm thinking about taking part in research. What do you think you'd say to them?
Go and do it. No, I think what I'd say is, well, I do it, and it doesn't involve a lot of work or anything, but you're useful. Is there anything that bothers you about it? Is there anything you want to know? Because people might think, I don't know what they think. They might think it could be dangerous. I think I'd say, well, I do it, and I've done it for a long time, but I haven't done many studies because I haven't been needed. But it's worthwhile, and it's a necessary. They do need people to volunteer for these things. Is there anything special you want to know about it? The subject came up once, I can't think how, I think it was when I was visiting someone for coffee or something like that, and there were several of us, and it came up, and the person that spoke to us then about it hadn't been approached, but said, I don't know if I'd like to do that. I don't know if I wouldn't know what was going to happen. And as it happened, it wasn't just me, it was one of the others as well that was also on the bank that I didn't know about. And so we both said, we're on it. And, we said we've done one study or 2 studies or, whatever we'd done. And it was quite interesting because you could ask questions, you could ask about things, and you were actually, well, I think what I said was what I said to you. But let's face it, we're getting old, we can't do much, but it's something we can do.
Well, it's very, very much valued, and we thank you all and your friends and everybody, because it's lovely. Without people like you, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. So
well, the only
you.
complaint is that you don't do it. You don't call us often enough. I'd say you're very, very fortunate nowadays. You could do a lot more than I could do, because we were limited, because nurses were nurses and doctors were doctors, and nurses didn't do research, only doctors did research. You've got a lot more opportunities to do things. I mean, I enjoyed myself and I loved it. I loved every minute of it. But you could do so much more. There's so many more doors open to you. And go through them.